Girls, what romantic gift by your significant other was really awesome? So, I'm from the St. Louis area and we don't have the Rainforest Cafe there. It was always someplace I dreamed of going as a kid, but my parents were always like, we're not paying to eat overpriced chicken nuggets in the dark with animatronic animals. Whatever. Fast forward to when I'm an adult and dating this guy for 2+ years. We're in Chicago for my birthday and he surprises me by taking me to the Rainforest Cafe to fulfill my childhood dream. When we sit down, he pulls out 2 safari hats, puts one on his head and hands the other to me. Then he pulls out a stuffed elephant shrew, which is one of my favorite animals. I'm holding the elephant shrew, still in shock, and my stoic, no-nonsense engineer boyfriend is sitting nonchalantly across from me wearing a safari hat. No idea where he found a stuffed elephant shrew. The whole thing was such a sweet, goofy gesture, especially for him. I teared up. Thank you for enlightening me as to the glorious ball of cuteness that is the elephant shrew. My husband and I were at a friend's destination wedding in the mountains a few years ago, and we got into an argument after the rehearsal dinner. Seeing as I was the maid of honor with a wedding to control the next day, and it was like 1 AM, I left him outside to smoke a cigar and went to bed. Next thing I know at 3 AM and he's in my ear telling me to look up. I roll over. The room is pitch black save for the dozens of fireflies. He knew I'd never seen them before, so he spent 2 hours in the dark catching them by hand, then released them in our room at the cabin, next to our wedding. That was the best night of my life. Following argument. Fill bedroom with bugs. Check. Maybe not romantic but incredibly thoughtful. For Christmas, my son gave his girlfriend, now fiancée, a reserved parking space in the city. He leases the space in the alley of a homeowner. She works crazy hours as a med student on rotations and would come home late at night exhausted, then have to drive for 30 minutes to find parking. Now she is grateful to him every day when she parks her car and has a safe, short walk to her apartment. That's a brilliant gift. One year we couldn't spend my birthday together, so he sent me a care package. Inside was an instruction booklet titled Romantic Birthday Dinner and beneath it were all the ingredients so I could cook it myself. Ingredients: bread, jelly, peanut butter. The killer for me was the instruction manual. It was overly detailed and technical. He used the word emulsification like twice, with step-by-step picture guides. I was laughing so hard I was in tears. He literally bought me a PBJ for my birthday and it's the best gift I've ever gotten. That is incredibly cute. He bought a plain white mug, then painted it with me. He even painted his bottom lip red and pressed it onto the cup so that whenever I have a sip of coffee, it's like I'm giving him kisses. That's so disgustingly sweet. You gave me diabetes. Books. My boyfriend and I are both sci-fi nerds. He has dyslexia and does not read well. I have over 300 books and love to read, so he gets me sci-fi books and we snuggle as I read them to him. It's super nerdy but it fits us. The best gifts are tailored to activities both of you enjoy. They bring you closer to each other and can be enjoyed over and over again. I recommend checking out the facilities of the public libraries near you to see if any of them have an audio recording room. Mine does. You could make him an audiobook with your own voice and surprise him with it next time he goes on a trip. A crate of one of my favorite beers, which I told him had been discontinued. He was very proud of himself for finding it, and I had to explain that it had only been discontinued on tap, but I was still very happy with 24 bottles of it. When I was 17, my 19-year-old boyfriend made me a teddy bear. It was the ugliest dang teddy in the world, but the fact that this tough silent guy made it was amazing. He wasn't technically my significant other, but we both knew we were crazy about each other. It was Valentine's Day about 5 years ago. We lived in different countries and would Skype all the time. I think we never made it official because of the distance. On Valentine's Day we set up a Skype date to commiserate about single people woes. We spent the whole night laughing and talking about our days. I had written him a song and I was super nervous, but it came to the end of the night when we should both log off, but I could tell we both wanted to keep talking. I told him I had a Valentine's gift for him and I pushed past my nerves to play it. He loved it, and then he went to go get something for me. When he came back to his computer he had his guitar. He had written a song for me too. It was about how he would feel if we could be in the same place. We didn't plan it at all, but it made us both feel so in sync and special. It was probably the most romantic gift I've ever gotten. It took time and effort and was super personal. I couldn't sleep because I was so happy. I think a big part of romantic gestures is playing detective and trying to figure out what your special friend likes. The easiest example is when men or women will walk past something on display and say something innocent like, "Oh, that candle holder decoration kit is so pretty." That could just mean that they thought it was pretty, but in my experience it usually means that she is trying to give you a hint. If you learn to pick up on the big and small hints and do something with it, you have come a long way. For example, 2 weeks ago my wife and I were at a fast food restaurant, and she asked me to grab a couple of extra straws that she could have for her smoothies at home. We're students and recently moved. Not everything is in order at our place. I did, and while she didn't say anything about buying straws or anything, I made a mental note of getting her straws somehow. Since I'm not very good with mental notes, the actual mental note was, "Write this down, you forgetful buffoon." 2 days ago I bought a big bunch of straws, put them all in a vase, and wrote a really short and really simple poem about a new type of bouquet I invented with a new type of flowers. She loved it, but not because of the actual straws. She could have gotten those herself. The thing is that you notice is a small thing that you could do for her, and you put a little bit of effort into making it fun and special, and that's what she appreciated. Gifts out of the blue are the best. Simple things like buying her favorite chocolates, cleaning up, cooking her favorite food, or foot massages. A gift that stands out for me was small amber with insects in them and a handmade card. Shows he knows me, gets me, and loves me. I'm a dude, but I have to share this. I'm a huge dinosaur fan, the kind that can quote practically all of Jurassic Park. The raptors are my favorite carnivore. For my birthday last year, my girlfriend took me to the Museum of Natural History in DC to see the dinosaurs. I'd never been there before, so I was already grinning from ear to ear. She stops, takes me aside, and gives me a present to open. I open it up, and it's a fossil. She tells me it's a tooth from the Dromaeosauridae family. She stumbled through the name, and that they couldn't identify which species because it was missing the root, so she got it cheaply. I cried. Literally, the best present I have ever gotten ever. I have to keep her forever now. I have a few. We started out long distance and were both busy with work, so for Valentine's Day one year I asked for just a day with him. He booked us a day in a spa. No phones, no books, just us. He secretly started learning sign language for me. He also got me a personalized Alice in Wonderland book where all the names were changed to my family. He got me a heart-shaped keyring with an inscription on it. And for Christmas last year he took me on a surprise trip to Venice for a weekend and proposed on a gondola with a message in a bottle and in sign language. I woke him up at 4 AM, explained nothing, drove us to the airport, and we flew to Paris for the weekend. Low cost flight and kind of cheaper hotel. So it wasn't even that expensive as it sounds. He loved it. My boyfriend once bought me makeup. At first I thought to KII, you think I need more makeup, But then I realized it is kind of daunting to go to a makeup counter and pick something when you are a guy, so I felt good about it. And it was good quality, very nice colors, etc. But then I opened the box and there was a handwritten note from the woman who worked the makeup counter that said, "Your boyfriend took a long time picking exactly the right thing you may like. He went into great detail about your skin, the color of your hair and your eyes. He clearly cares for you very, very much. One of the best presents I have ever received." Last year my now husband and I were visiting his sister in Vermont and walking through a wood shop in Vermont where a man was selling his hand-carved items, and there was an absolutely gorgeous wooden jewelry box, all ornate compartments and scrolls, just beautiful. I saw the price tag and sighed. It was well worth the price but out of our budget. We went back home to Massachusetts and on our anniversary my husband gave me the jewelry box. I was so surprised. He had seen my expression when I looked at it, even though I never said a word. He arranged to pay for it and his sister picked it up for him, and he drove back to Vermont to get it without my knowing. Just knowing how much I loved it, and how happy he made me, it was such a gorgeous thing to do. He is a great guy. Alright, so I'm female, but this gift was received by a female, so I think it's what you're looking for. So I was really poor and really wanted to do something really sweet for my ex and my 1 year. I was convinced the entire time that I did this that it was a stupid idea and definitely took some time. I took something like 15 regular sheets of computer paper, colored one side completely with colored pencils, and then folded the paper and tore it into equal eighths. On each little slip, I wrote something that I love about her. I then folded them and put them in a cardboard box lined with felt from an old project. I painted the outside of the box in her favorite colors and wrote one word on each of the 4 sides: why I love you. We went camping at the beach, and when she took a trip to the camp store to buy more firewood, I lit 20 tea light candles in the shape of a heart around the box. When she came back, I was hiding in my hammock, giggling like a schoolgirl. At first she thought it was a bomb, somehow, not really sure how. Then she saw the heart. She opened the box and saw 100 plus folded slips of colorful paper. You asked me a couple of weeks what I love about you, and my answer sucked. These are some of the things I love about you. She started to cry immediately. We sat at the picnic table and she read every single one out loud and just cried and cried. And then I got laid. Upvote for a heartwarming Nicholas Sparks ESQ story, and ending it abruptly with sex. We were in high school, so he didn't have much money. He commissioned an artsy classmate to illustrate a comic. I'm sure he didn't pay her much, but she was happy to make some cash doing something she liked to do, and they sat down together and came up with a great story. It was an adventure tale about my beloved cat and I. I loved it, and years later, I still have it and think fondly of him for thinking of such a creative gift. He made me a keychain with the exact coordinates of where he proposed to me. It is stamped metal, and even though it's a bit rough and slightly unfinished looking, it is one of my most charming treasured possessions. I knit my girlfriend a scarf, and let's just say the gift went over really well. It was super easy and relatively cheap. I had no prior knowledge of knitting crafts in general. I just YouTubed tutorials. My wife told me last week the only thing she wants for Christmas is a giant scarf. She said to think of what might look like a ridiculously large scarf and then get one 8 times larger than that. I'm basically just getting her an Afghan. Listen to her. If she says she likes Harry Potter, get her something Harry Potter related. If she's having a bad day, buy her chocolate or flowers. If she really loves you, she won't expect you to empty your pockets for her. It's the small, random gestures that mean the most. If you see something that reminds you of her, buy it. And if you're dirt poor and see something that makes you think of her but can't afford it, snap a picture or mention it to her. It'll make her happy to know that you're thinking about her that much. I'll give you some of my dad's best gifts. He's kind of a rock star at this. On their major anniversaries, he gives her jewelry that he designs himself, and even takes the time to pick the stones himself. This year he got her a pair of earrings, but he spent 3 months combing through the jeweler's stock of sapphires before he found the perfect ones. They are called bubblegum sapphires, and they're the same shade as her favorite color. He got her tickets to go see Red Green's traveling one-man show because she used to adore the television program when it aired. Likewise, he gets her tickets to see musicals even though he hates them, and encourages her to take one of her friends and have a girls' night. My mom gets headaches all the time, and he bought her a travel size bottle of Tylenol and refills it without being asked every time she runs out. He remodeled the kitchen once when she was on travel for her job. She was only gone 3 days, so you can imagine the chaos. When they were first dating, he graduated college before her and had to move across the country for his job. He got her roommates to agree not to turn her into the landlord, and gave her a kitten to keep her company so she wouldn't be lonely without him. Likewise, when we moved into our first home with a big backyard, townhouses before that, he got her a basset hound puppy since she had always wanted one since she was a little girl. He claimed it was for us kids, but we knew better. Recently, he bought her new tires for her car for their anniversary. She was off for 3 days, until her birthday, when he gave her the money for a trip to see her friend who lives in her hometown that was recently diagnosed with terminal cancer. My mom is afraid of airplanes, so it was really sweet that he outfitted her car for the trip instead of just buying her a plane ticket. Similarly, sometimes he surprises my mom by telling her that he randomly bought plane tickets for my grandfather to come visit. Once, He bought my grandfather a laptop and taught him how to use it so that he and my mom could keep in touch all the time. I'm sure there's more, but that's all I can remember right now. I used to battle with depression a lot. One Christmas I got a jar filled with little notes from my boyfriend at the time. All notes said things like "You're beautiful," "I'm so glad I met you," "You're my everything," and things like that. It was one of the sweetest things I've ever gotten. I used to be obsessed with Dexter. Let's pretend those last few seasons didn't happen. My then so made me a blood slide box like the one Dexter kept for all his victims. He put a bunch of slides in with room for more if I wanted to add some later, and on the slides were pictures of our shenanigans. It was incredibly sweet, and I was so impressed when he gave it to me. Kind of morbid, but it really showed how much effort and thought he put into making me happy. For a minute then I thought you were going to say he killed a bunch of people and gave you their blood. When my ex-boyfriend gave me an old dictionary as an anniversary present, I was a little confused. Little did I know, he'd highlighted every single word in the dictionary that reminded him of me. It's seriously the little, thoughtful things that make someone feel loved. We may have broken up, but it still makes me smile to this day. For my birthday, my boyfriend got each of my friends to record a video birthday message using their webcams, and edited all of them together into a compilation. This even included our friends who moved away to live in far-flung places around the world, so it was really amazing. He ended with a video clip of his own birthday wishes. We're in a long-distance relationship. As soon as I realized what it was, I cried. It cost him nothing, but it is by far my most treasured gift. My ex paid for my best friend, who I never see and speak to daily, to fly from France to Montreal and surprise me for my birthday 2 years ago. I expected to spend a night in with her, some sushi, and some sexy time. Oh boy, sushi delivery man arrives. I open the door, and it's my best friend standing with his back to me, his girlfriend's hand in one hand, and a huge box of sushi in the other. I was dumbstruck for a solid 10 seconds. My ex was squealing with glee next to me. I don't think I ever loved her more during our relationship than at the precise moment I realized what she had done for me. I knew my best friend was broke, so I knew she'd bought him the ticket. That crap's expensive, like around $700. And we were just two young graduates starting out with not much in the way of salaries. She's an exceptional lady. My boyfriend kept all of our tickets and maps and receipts from our Youre trip and made me a scrapbook with our pictures and all of the things we had collected along the way. I cried twice. Coming from someone that may be a generation older than most Redditors and someone whom has had a few failed relationships as well as a recent highly successful one, here is what I have to say. Girls like seeing guys taking care of crap. Instead of getting her a gift, maybe just silently do all of the house chores. You may or may not live together, but if you do, you probably have divided chores among the two of you. Do hers and yours one day. Don't make a big deal of it. Do the dishes, fold the laundry, scrub the bathroom and kitchen, clean the dang house. If you can sneak out of work before her, do all of this without getting caught. The surprise on her face when she gets home will make it all worthwhile. We are all busy, tired and don't want to clean when we get home from work life, but showing you care about her enough to do it will go a long way. If she is home, just don't have expectations. If you are like, look at Emmy cleaning the house, it will ruin the magic. Just do it because you love her. And maybe you want a BJ. Just don't announce that either. She knows you want one already. Then just buy some takeout, snuggle, rub her feet and watch Netflix. Simple and effective. Get home, food, snuggles, and Netflix. Yes. She kept a list of things on her phone that are the little things I had mentioned throughout our relationship. One of my favorites was the fresh cut grass scented candle. RAM for my laptop. It made my life so much better. Yes, it was romantic. You found my secret gold stash comment. Gold for me, and you can have some, maybe. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.